When I was young, I read through Matthew chapters 8 and 9 without seeing anything. I read about the new cloth, the new wine, and the new wineskin. But none of these things made any impression on me. Later, in the proper environment, my eyes were opened to see how sweet and pleasant the Lord Jesus is. Oh, he is our bridegroom. How pleasant! He is the new cloth, our covering, and the new wine to fill us up. And he is also the new wineskin, the container. I also came to see the four kinds of Christians indicated by these items: the modernists, the fundamentalists, the inner life people, and the church people. I am glad to be among the church people. I enjoy being in the new wineskin. I am covered by the new garment. I am drinking the new wine, and I am in the new wineskin, enjoying the presence of the bridegroom. How wonderful this is! This is our Christ. Today we do know what the church is. We are church in Christ. In the Lord's recovery, Christ is our bridegroom, our new garment, our new wine, and our new wineskin. Therefore, we may coin a new phrase: we are church in Christ. Signs with dispensational significance repeated. In chapter 9, verse 18 to 34, we have the repetition of signs with dispensational significance. These verses give a brief picture of this age and the coming age. Hence, this record is also with dispensational significance, as that in chapter 8, verse 1 to 17. The daughter of the ruler of the synagogue represents the Jews, and the woman with the hemorrhage represents the Gentiles. When the daughter died, the woman was healed. After the woman was healed, the daughter was revived. Following this, two blind men and one dumb man were healed. This is a type showing that when the Jews are cut off, the Gentiles are saved, and that after the fullness of the salvation of the Gentiles, the Jews will be saved. Following this, the millennium will begin, and at that time all the blind and the dumb will be healed. The daughter of the ruler of the synagogue having died. Verse 18 says, as he was speaking these things to them, behold, a ruler came and worshipped him, saying, my daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she will live. The ruler here was a ruler of the synagogue named Jairus, which means he will enlighten or enlightened, signifying that the Lord will enlighten the Gentiles, and they will be enlightened. According to the record in Mark and Luke, this ruler's daughter was 12 years of age. This ruler was interested in the heavenly king, but he did not have as much faith as the centurion. The centurion had told the Lord Jesus that he did not need to come to his home. It was sufficient for him to speak a word. If this ruler of the synagogue had had this kind of faith, his daughter would have been healed. However, he asked the Lord to come to his home and to lay his hand upon his daughter. His faith could reach this far, no farther. Sympathizing with him, the Lord Jesus arose and followed him. The healing of a woman with a hemorrhage. As the Lord was on the way to the ruler's house, a woman who had been sick of hemorrhage for 12 years approached from behind and touched the fringe of his garment. This woman suffered from a bloody flush, a flow of issue of blood. The life of the flesh is in the blood. Hence, the disease signifies the life that cannot be retained. The woman was sick for 12 years, the age of the daughter of the ruler. This woman approached the Lord from behind and touched the fringe of his garment, saying within herself, if only I may touch his garment, I shall be healed. The woman here and the centurion in chapter 8, verse 5 to 10, both representing the Gentiles, came to contact the Lord in the same way with faith. She was healed while the Lord was on the way to the ruler's house. This signifies that the Gentiles are saved while Christ is on the way to the house of Israel. The Lord's garment signifies Christ's righteous deed, and the fringe signifies the heavenly ruling. According to Numbers chapter 15, verse 38 to 40, Israelite males had to wear a blue fringe on their garments. a ribbon in the color of blue. This means that their lives, their walk was restricted by a heavenly limitation. When the Lord Jesus was on earth, he probably dressed in this way. Garments signify virtue in human behavior. In the human virtue of the Lord Jesus, there was healing power. Therefore, when the sick woman touched the fringe of his garment, the power of his virtue went to her, and she was healed. Out of Christ's heavenly root deeds comes the virtue that becomes the healing power. The healing of the woman with the hemorrhage indicates that the Lord was met and caught by the Gentiles as he was journeying to the Jews. According to history, the Gentiles are sick and the Jews are growing in order to die. In other words, the Gentiles are sick and the Jews are dying. The Jewish girl was 12 years of age, and the woman had been sick for 12 years. For 12 years, the woman suffered from the issue of blood, and for 12 years, the girl was growing in order to die. This signifies that while the Gentiles are sick of sinful things, the Jews are growing in order to die. After the woman was healed, the Lord Jesus arrived at the home of the Jewish ruler, signifying that when the salvation of the Gentiles is in full, Christ will reach the house of Israel. The healing of the daughter of the ruler of the synagogue. In verses 23 through 26, we have the healing of the synagogue ruler's daughter. The daughter here and Peter's mother-in-law in chapter 8, verse 14 through 15, both representing the Jews at the end of this age, were healed in the house by the Lord's coming and direct touch. This indicates that at the end of this age, all the remnants of the Jews will be saved in the house of Israel by the Lord's coming and his direct touch.